Why do I automatically think that, yeah, that's very
Alienish.
alienish? Yeah.
Spaced out with Eshaana and Ananya, two best friends among the stars.
Spaced out.
Hello, we are your Chatternauts. I'm Eshaana.
I'm Ananya.
And
Spaced out.
Yeah.
With spaced out. We're figuring out a tagline, but I think for now, let's space out for a bit. How's your week been?
My week has been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been crocheting a lot.
Oh.
Yeah.
What have you crocheted?
I'm crocheting a granny square sweater.
I love that.
Yeah, it's just like
We
a
should put a
square,
photo
square,
up
square.
on
Yeah.
the
Oh my god,
video
it's not gonna be
of the-
ready yet. I'm pretty sure one in the next episode I will still be crocheting the same thing.
You know, in one of our episodes, you should sit and crochet during the episode. I semi-know how to knit. It's been a while, but I feel like I can pick it back up. Crocheting, though, I struggle with because one needle. It's hard to control with one needle.
Yeah.
But
It is
somehow...
but it's the one non-machinable aspect. Like only humans can crochet. They have been able to machinify. What's the word? Commercialize, like using machines. You know, like the knit work and like weaving work. But crochet is something that because you need so
Just
many
the dexterity
axes
of that. Yeah.
You can't commercial. What is the word? You can't make it manufacturable, machine makeable.
There is the word.
Yeah.
Machinerize is what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the scene in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where, what's the dad called? Mr. Bucket loses his job because a machine takes over for his job.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put the word up on the screen as well. I think this would be a good word to know, generally.
I think it is machinerize.
No, bro.
Maybe not. Perhaps
Automate.
Automate.
Chalo,
That
done.
is the word. Hell yeah. Let's go.
Beautiful. Well,
What about you?
Oh, my week's been good, bro. It's been I have some new plants in the house, which is exciting. There's Monty right behind. I'll put a photo of Monty up as well. He's a nice monstera. We're looking at Monty right now, but you guys can't see him. And there's another plant back here, which I'm yet to name. What? Do you have thoughts?
Spindy?
No.
Because it's a no. But Monty, that's such a good name.
Monty.
Who came up with it?
I don't know, Eshaana. Eshaana came up with the name. I posted on Twitter, what should I name my new monstera? And then Eshaana came home soon after that. And this is the first time she was seeing Monty. And I just asked her, I was like, what should I name my new monstera? And instantly you just said Monty. And instantly I was in love. I was like, of course he's Monty. Of course. It's nothing else but a Monty. And when you see the photo, you will see why all of this makes sense. But I have a question for you, Eshaana. Do you want to find an alien? That's the wrong tune, isn't it?
No, it's correct.
Do you want to find an alien? Come on. Come out and play. Hello. Should I move in close to the camera just to like
do it?
Show everyone. It's like, oh, this is our little alien. We'll call him Voldy.
Voldy.
Because he's actually Voldemort. But he looks a lot, to be fair, like our modern day aliens, don't you? I mean, I say modern day aliens. No, like what aliens are depicted as, don't you think?
Yes. He really does, though. Now that you said it, that's insane. Yes.
These are
very
my
much
keys
so.
for reference a little bit.
Yeah. With the weird spindly eyes and the cloaks.
The cloaks, yes. So I actually have some fun facts for you on like just because of course we've never seen an alien, right? Quote unquote. But we all have this perception of an alien based on what we've seen in movies and TV. But it's not something that's new. It's something that even for like the past century, people have generally thought about aliens. So it's pretty cool, actually. And like initially, right, for this, I was thinking of like getting a few photos and whatnot to show Eshaana, you know, the different depictions. But then I had my little Voldy keychain lying about. And a lot of the depictions that we actually associate with aliens come from this. So
why do I automatically think that, yeah, that's very
alienish?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have to start back in the 1800s or so for this, right? So around the 1800s, there were a lot of like depictions of aliens, quote unquote, but they were not standardized in any way, very like monstrous looks. Some were like animalesque, and a whole number of things were associated with it. Now, in the late 1800s, there was an Italian astronomer called, again, I'm so bad with names. I did this last time as well, like the Hershey dude. This guy is Giordano Schipareli. I'm sure about the last name. The first name, I'm not too sure. Again, it sounded a bit like Ghirardelli, which is why I remember. Have you had Ghirardelli chocolate, bro?
Love Ghirardelli chocolate.
It's so good. The raspberry dark chocolate flavor.
For me, sea salt caramel.
That is a really good one. But Schiparelli, coming back to him. So he's actually one of our Italian astronomer friends he did a lot of work on Mars, and he, studied Mars a lot. And again, this is post Galileo. So we had the telescopes, we had all of this, right? And he observed some canals. Well, no, he observed some channels on Mars, like just sort of some lines and things like that. And in Italian, he called them canali. But through kind of Chinese whispers back in the day, this got interpreted as canals, which are human-made structures, right, on Earth. So people kind of weirdly started associating Martians with living in this like canal-esque landscape, like little tunnels of sorts almost that these Martians had built.
Interesting.
And that's why these little tropes of them being smaller beings came about. Now, moving forward a little bit into the 1920s, 1930s, a lot of pulp magazines came out, right? They're called pulp magazines because they were produced using paper pulp. They were cheap, mass-produced, and they all kind of followed similar tropes on just being very brightly colored, having kind of fantastical stories in them. And they started depicting aliens as sort of these greenish creatures for a number of reasons. One, because this was also around the time aliens people started thinking of aliens as invaders, as something to fear, not just like an extraterrestrial being, but something that could come and invade us or come and hurt us.
Why green though?
So the green, it's for a number of reasons. One, they associate it with almost a reptilian look, right?
Interesting.
The second was, this one I actually found really interesting. In these pulp magazines, and subsequently in like coming decades on film and TV, green was a color that was cheap. And it was easy to show on screen and very distinctly different from humans, that it kind of fit the alien.
Is that why they have green screens as well?
Maybe it might have originated back then. I've not actually looked into that. Why green is the color?
Yeah,
of
why
green
green is the
Because I feel like they could have made it any color.
Yeah,
right?
but as you said, right, there's no like humans will not like, emit that kind of a color. Interesting.
So it could have been that. So that's why the green kind of thing came about. And then as a few sci-fi novels came out over the course of like the 20th century, there were some like the aliens were also referred to as green, and people just started associating the color green with them. Now, when we look at our Voldy here, he's got a humanoid form, right? And again, most of the aliens that we have seen have somewhat of a humanoid form as well. This is because aliens were something to fear, they were considered intelligent. And unfortunately, because of our anthropocentric views, people associated the humanoid form with intelligence.
Anthropocentric.
Relating to humans.
Okay.
Yeah. And, but they always also have bigger heads, right?
Yeah.
And that's also comes from the fact that intelligence is associated with the size of your brain, even though that isn't necessarily true in nature based on how you measure intelligence. But they considered, if they were more powerful than us, they would have been more intelligent than us. Because we have bigger brains than primates, aliens would have bigger brains than us. So they kind of just distorted the heads a little bit. And then the large eyes, for example, like our Voldy has. This was also for two reasons. So the large eyes were because they live in space. We consider space to be dark. So the way like nocturnal animals have big eyes, this was just so they'd have big eyes because they assumed that's how they'd see in the dark. But the darker eyes with kind of tiny pupils and stuff, that associated more from the evil understanding of aliens, where we kind of imagined them to be a bit lifeless and whatnot. And one of the reasons I chose Voldy for this was he's got a bit of green in him, right? We can just assume it's his body and not his cloak. But he's got gray in him as well. So around the 1950s, aliens started being depicted as gray as well. And this stemmed from Cold War anxieties, because that was around the time of the Cold War.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of technocratic fears happening. And again, fear of the outside. I think a lot of the like geopolitical tensions in Earth were manifested in how we just look at any outside being, be it someone from another country or from another planet. So aliens started being depicted as sort of gray and whatnot.
Interesting.
And in a nutshell, and it's not hugely changed. Of course, there are many more versions of it now. And as movie and cinema and everything's gotten more advanced, so many films have depicted them in other ways. But if you ask a kid to draw an alien, it's going to be something like this, you know? I think my first interaction with aliens. The first time I saw like an alien on TV that I remember was the Tom and Jerry Go to Mars. Have you watched that?
Yes.
Have you watched that?
Yeah,
it's so good.
It's so good.
And those tiny green aliens.
Yeah.
And like, does Jerry become their king or something?
Something
at some
like
point?
that. Yes.
And then Tom's just like, I don't know, getting hurt again. But in a nutshell, that's aliens for you.
Yeah, even in Toy Story, the aliens are green.
They are green.
And they have 3 eyes, which also could be because they need more to see.
They see more. Yeah, they're more powerful. So a lot of it just stemmed from fears we had relating to aliens / just this like imagination of the unknown. But the only kind of perception of life we have on Earth is the life we have on Earth. I think they call it like the N=1 problem. There's only one sample set to refer to. So it all stems from something that we know. But
that's also so true. The way we personify things is we just add those like 2 eyes and like a mouth, and that's how you like show that it's lifelike. In a way. So that also could have some like something to design constraints with the aliens. Like that could be.
And I think it was also, as actors started to portray them, it was easier to maybe add a little add-on and make their head bigger. But before you had FX and all that fancy CGI, that's the thing. Yeah. Before you had all that, it was just easier to dress them up in a costume that with 2 arms, 2 legs, whatnot.
Yeah.
But I also think it just stems from them thinking, oh, if they're intelligent, they have to be like us.
Fair.
Yeah.
Interesting.
A little crash course on alien history for you.
I love that. That is actually really interesting. But like, there are so many different like conspiracy theories of like whether people have seen aliens, whether they've not, UFOs, and like, the internet is just full of them. When I was like 11 or 12, that was my favorite thing to Google and search for. And when YouTube would like buffer and you could play the snake game on YouTube.
What? That was a thing?
Yeah. So when YouTube is buffering the loading sign,
it turns into
a snake. So you can play snake while YouTube is buffering. I
missed that. I feel like I
don't know if it still does.
Connect to low internet just to see, because I remember YouTube buffer days, because until we only got Wi-Fi in 8th grade when I was like, that would have been 2010, 11 types. So before that, when I was like in 6th, 7th grade, I am a massive Avril Lavigne fan to this day, but she was actually one of the first albums that I'd ever bought. And we found out there are music videos. This is the thing that you can watch on YouTube. So we used to wait 30 minutes for one YouTube video to load. So we'll just load. And my brother and I used to take turns just like watching it. It was a whole scene. But I didn't know we could play Snake then. But we still had Nokia phones, so I would probably play Snake on my phone as I was waiting for it to buffer. So not too much FOMO.
Yeah, fair. But the amount of like conspiracies that have come out of just the idea of aliens and like extraterrestrial beings is so insane. In fact, one of the most like recent conspiracies is the 3-Eye Atlas.
Oh,
have you heard about the 3-Eye Atlas?
The 3-Eye Atlas, no. Tell me more.
Oh, it's so interesting, and this is actually one of the. So you always have to take conspiracies with a pinch of salt, including this one to a certain extent. But there are just so many inexplicable events that have taken place that no one has an answer for.
Okay.
So 3-Eye Atlas is one of the only 3 interstellar objects that we have detected over the past couple of years.
So when you say interstellar, it means it's moved from one sun to us.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Interstellar. So yeah, exactly. And it's entered our solar system. We had Borisov, which was I think early 2000s.
Okay.
Then we had Oumuamua, which was 20.
It sounds like a Hawaiian island, very humu humu nuku nuku apua
Yes.
vibes.
But they named it because it was a the very large telescope in Hawaii that discovered it.
Okay.
So
there is Hawaiian associations.
Yeah.
Got you.
And even that was really insane. I mean, it's this oblong structure that was just hurtling through space.
Wait, one sec. How do we know that it's come from another solar system?
Because we can detect, we can understand the chemical composition of it.
Okay.
So things like Halley's Comet originates from the Oort cloud, which is the outside
cloud. Oh,
Oort
we did talk
cloud.
about this
Yes.
last time. It's at the beyond Pluto, like at the end of our solar system.
Yes.
Right? Remembering. Good stuff.
But like trajectories that have like those kinds of trajectories that just randomly show up are the ones that usually are like not from our solar system. And I mean, there's a lot of imaging that takes place where you start tracking the object. When you discover it, you look at the speed, and using all of that information and a bunch of math, you can infer whether it is at the end of the solar, like whether it originated from the end of the solar system, from the Oort cloud, or if it's an interstellar like traveling thing. So yeah, so the
and
chemical.
I guess we're also constantly tracking a lot of objects that could be coming towards our solar system, right?
100%.
So we also know if it's kind of already here,
yeah,
where it's coming from. Okay.
But technology has improved a lot more now.
Yes.
So before we weren't really tracking too many things.
Okay.
So that is why this time we've been well equipped to not only like find out where it's coming from, what it's, where all of those like the details, but we can also try and take pictures of the spectrum and the colors that it has, because then you can use that to understand the elements that are present on this comet like thing.
Okay, so you say comet like thing. Is 3i Atlas a comet?
It is a comet.
Okay.
But
how do you define a comet in the world of space?
So a comet is a rocky body that's made of mainly water ice, and then it burns up with water vapor.
Okay.
And it has a coma. A coma is this haze of gas and dust that surrounds it, which creates that beautiful, like, that line, the tail of the comet.
Bro, I think I saw a shooting star today. Like, well, you missed it. We were like kind of sitting near each other.
Yeah,
and we were
I didn't.
Fireworks. And out of nowhere, I'm like, that's a shooting star. And then it just went.
I was still confused about why there's fireworks happening today.
I still am confused. If anyone knows what's on, I look at my empty wrist. 11th February. That's today, no?
Yeah, it's International Latte Day. I was like, maybe
International Latte. So a bunch of enthusiastic baristas in Bangalore were having a solid 20-minute fireworks show. Back to comets.
Comets, yes.
So,
so basically a comet is something that comes full of gas and dust. It has a coma, which is this haze surrounding it of gas and dust. Yeah, kind of. And it travels through, and the closer it gets to the sun, the brighter the tail, its tail gets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the reason why it gets brighter is because the sun is always emitting energy.
Yes.
Charged particles, ions, everything outward. Which is why we also are like solar high, solar low, the solar storms that occur.
Oh, yes.
Those kinds of things happen. So the closer you get, the more you're subject to the radiation in a higher concentration.
I see.
So because of that, the tail gets brighter and brighter until it either exits or like loops back and stuff. So 3i Atlas.
3i Atlas.
It's a really interesting comet, and there are so many like. The overall, I'll give you a TLDR and then we can get into it.
Okay.
So there's some people who believe that extraterrestrial life exists, or this is a probe sent by extraterrestrial intelligence.
Okay.
And there is another theory which talks more from like a physics point of view, which we will also get into. But yeah, 3i Atlas is extremely interesting because most comets that we encounter so far have been mainly water vapor, built of water vapor and built of water ice that becomes water vapor, and very little CO2, which is carbon dioxide. But when we started tracking 3i Atlas, it consisted mainly of CO2,
Okay.
Which is so interesting because the reason why most comets have water vapor as like the major constituent is because it originates from the outside of the solar system, which has an abundance outside of the solar system, or the outer Oort cloud, which has an abundance of like ices and stuff.
Got you. Okay.
But
yes.
not so much carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
So we were really confused as to why it has so much CO2. And that is where this whole like idea came from, was that why is it, firstly, why is this ratio so different from the other comets we've seen, and why is it, one more interesting thing about 3i Atlas is that it has an anti-tail. So when you visualize a comet, you see this like rock, and then there's a tail that's like trailing behind. That is very different for 3i Atlas because it has a tail facing the sun, not away from the sun.
It's like in the direction it moves, there's a tail?
Yeah.
What?
That's what, yeah, and it's known as an anti-tail. So it does have a tail as well, but it has a significantly large anti-tail that's getting brighter the more it moves towards the sun, which is really weird.
Have we ever seen anything else with an anti-tail in the past?
Not that I know of. They have theorized it for sure, but this is the first like time that we've seen it in this format, where this interstellar traveler has come and there's a huge anti-tail, and it's like, again, with a lot of CO2, and they've also found some kind of organics on the surface as well, which is why everyone is just so confused. Like, why is this?
How did they find organics on the surface?
They used emission spectroscopy.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, you scan it, and based on the dips in the wavelengths of light that are absorbed, you can tell what kind of elements are present on the rock. Okay. And so it dipped at certain organics as well as water vapor and carbon dioxide and a whole bunch of those things. But yeah, so 3i Atlas is really interesting because of that fact.
Okay. And when did we find it? Like, discover it?
So we started tracking it summer of 2025.
Last year?
Yes.
Okay.
Extremely recent, which is, yeah, and it's traveled through the solar system right now as of like
so
today.
From the Oort cloud.
Yeah, from outside the Oort cloud, it's come into the outer solar system, and now it is as close as it did a flyby of Mars recently. So remember we were talking about astronomical units? 3i Atlas is 2 astronomical units away from us.
So an astronomical unit, as a recap, is the distance between the Earth and the Sun.
Yes.
So this is currently 2 astronomical units away from Earth.
From Earth.
I have a question.
Roughly 2, yeah.
How does a comet do a flyby if something ain't flying it? Because the way I picture flybys, which, for example, Juno did, right? When I was like doing all these Jupiter things. Check out last episode for all the Juno and Jupiter deeds. But it's like a whew, whew, whew. Like it keeps going back and forth.
Not necessarily back and forth.
Oh, it just goes like
it goes based on the it can go past it. So some of the leading theories as to why comets form is because this like huge like ball of gas and dust gets too close to its host planet. Okay. And because of that, it gets slingshotted out of its own stellar system.
Okay.
And exits its stellar system, and that's how Atlas 3i has entered into our solar system. It's just like
So did a flyby of Mars?
Yeah, it did a flyby of Mars, so it's already in the inner solar system. It has flown behind the sun as well, which is why we could not track it between October to November 2025. And this is where the interesting part comes, is before, when we were tracking it, we saw a whole bunch of CO2, and we were really confused because it's like, why is there so much CO2? When it came back, and when we could see it after it went behind the sun, which is when we could not like actively see or track it, it came out with 2 other plumes of water vapor.
So by plumes, you mean other trails?
Yeah, like other emissions coming out from this of water vapor. Which is why? Exactly.
What's the theory behind why it could be?
So that's like the debunking of the conspiracy, which I will get to, because now comes in the the conspiracy part, which is why a lot of people think it's extraterrestrial life. There are rumors, these are unconfirmed, but there are rumors that Atlas 3I has been actively but very slowly and subtly changing its acceleration in a way that doesn't work according to like the forces of gravity or according to the calculated trajectories. If something is free flying, it's going to do the slingshot and then go away.
You can predict it,
yes,
because you know the gravity, you know,
exactly.
Like, yeah, okay.
But again, this is unconfirmed, but there have been like conversations that talk about the fact that it is slightly changing trajectory and accelerating more than it should be, which is, again, it happened like I think 2 days ago, which is when
it's very new.
Yeah, very
Damn,
new.
Okay.
Which was really insane. And so yeah, that was one of the confusing aspects of Atlas 3I. And when it was doing a flyby of Mars, there is this orbiter on Mars called MAVEN, which is the Mars.
MAVEN.
Yeah, MAVEN.
I
Really
like the
cute name.
Yeah.
And it's been there for a really long time. Mars atmospheric and volatile evolution.
Ooh.
That was the entire point of this, where it picks up on any atmospheric changes, gas changes, anything. It can literally pick up signals that are 10 times weaker than our phone. That's what this device can do. And it's been working perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Until when the flyby was happening of 3I Atlas next to Mars, we pointed it towards 3I Atlas to try and get like spectral data or like magnetometer data and stuff. It locked in and just shut down.
What?
Yeah. The last picture that MAVEN sent back to Earth was of just a pixelated 3I Atlas. And it doesn't work. And apparently the reason why is because of a thruster that misfired. I mean, yeah, it's like that was their explanation.
It's
but
been working for a while though.
Exactly.
3I Atlas.
Exactly.
Damn.
So that is there, and this is not even the first crime scene. The first crime scene was TESS, which is another active searching device outside that's orbit, like that's in space. And when TESS tried to, I'll put the full form whenever, but basically when it tried to look at Atlas and like lock in on the target to try and understand the chemical nature and what's going on, it blinded. It got the signal reflected back and blinded TESS.
Bro.
And people treat these as two isolated events, but they may not be.
I mean, 3I Atlas is
both times,
a common denominator.
Both times it's the common denominator.
Damn.
But, and also, so the 3I Atlas, when it was initially sighted, it was sighted by JWST, the James Webb Space Telescope. That is supposed to do exoplanet research. It can see really far out into the galaxy and things. And it found that there is an ironless nickel super alloy on the surface of the comet. Now, what that means is it can happen. It's definitely possible because heavier elements, when they exist in space, it is due to fallout of dead stars.
Right.
So, like dead stars explode. You know, again, this is stellar evolution. We have to do an episode on stellar evolution.
I'm excited about stellar evolution.
But yeah, that is basically heavier elements also start exploding and go everywhere. So that could be this element could be like a byproduct of a supernova.
Okay.
But we also
a supernova
is the death of a star.
The death of a star.
It just explodes.
Why does it have such a like fantastical name?
Because it looks fantastical. It's beautiful. It's genuinely amazing.
Okay.
So supernova, that could be a byproduct, which is this ironless nickel super alloy.
Okay.
On Earth, we use this super alloy for stealth technology. We use it for heat dissipation, and we use it for radiation shielding.
Oh.
So why
sounds like the kind of thing we'd put if we were checking out some other solar system.
Yeah. So that, and JWST hinted at the presence of this on the surface of
3.
I hinted because you can never confirm, because JWST is a passive observer, whereas MAVEN or TESS, they are active observers where they will lock in onto the target and try and gain as much information. Whereas JWST is just like, it's looking at everything.
Got you. Yeah. And by chance it could catch something.
Exactly. It's like on your phone, phone camera, it's the difference between portrait mode and regular mode. Portrait will focus on your face.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Yeah,
that actually helps me understand it really
mode,
well.
Yeah, whereas regular mode will pick up everything. You know, there's not necessarily one thing
until
in
you
focus.
tap the screen a bunch of times and you're like, focus here, please. Yeah.
So that was what JWST hinted at, and that is why we think, a lot of people think, again, we have to take this with a pinch of salt because there's so many inexplicable things.
Yeah.
One more thing that really confused me was this company called Black Vault, that they collect and archive US government documents.
Okay.
That's their entire thing. And they recently submitted a request for freedom of information of any documents that they have on 3i Atlas. And the response that the government gave was a little cryptic because it was like, we can neither confirm nor deny the presence of such documents, and any information that we have on this is highly classified. And that's it. Which is so weird, because why would you classify information on something that could just be a simple comet? Because that is the narrative that they are telling us, that it's just a simple comet.
What are the other space agencies saying about it? JAXA, ESA, ISRO?
So ESA is also kind of like, no, nothing. We don't really know. ISRO hasn't publicly come out with any statements. Those are the ones that I mainly follow. Not too sure about JAXA, but so that's basically... that was a very cryptic message, just in general.
It's only,
it's a little weird. So that was one more thing. And with this trajectory change, and with the chemical composition thing, and with the crime scenes, with the two MAVEN and TESS just like malfunctioning.
Oh no.
There are so many things that point to it being like not
something more than a comet.
More. Exactly. But if you look at it from the physics point of view, this comet is more than 7 billion years old.
Okay.
To put it in context, our solar system and our sun actually is 4.6 billion years old.
Yes.
So it's way older than the sun.
It's an old boy.
Yes. Yeah. And so it is 7 billion years old.
Okay.
They studies show that it originated from closer to the galactic core, which is, so we are part of the Milky Way galaxy.
Yes.
It's a classic spiral galaxy. We're going to get into that on stellar evolution.
Okay.
For now, I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
It basically just means it has arms around. So have you seen a picture of a galaxy, right? It's all spirally and stuff. Yeah. So the center of the galaxy usually is a supermassive black hole.
Okay. Every galaxy.
Most galaxies. Okay. There are other theories and things, but as far as we know, there is a black hole in the center of our galaxy. This has originated from closer to the galactic center than us, like then where our solar system is located. Our solar system is located relatively at the end of the
I'm able to picture it.
Yes.
Okay.
So it came from that side. And the closer you get to the galactic core, the more galactic rays there are. Now, galactic rays is basically just interstellar dust, which is also what I was talking about with respect to supernova fallout, where stars just explode. It's a full graveyard of just
stardust.
Insane, stardust. And that is where it could have picked up this ironless nickel alloy as well as a lot of carbon dioxide.
Right.
And while it was traveling, because it has been traveling for a long, long time, it's 7 billion years old.
Tired, you can do some fun.
But so that is why it could be just a normal comet, which has mainly been made up of water ice. But then because it traversed so much with so much cosmic galactic radiation, it started creating this crust. Like, when you're eating an ice cream and you put that chocolate shell on top and it hardens.
Oh, that's so good. McDonald's got chocolate.
Yes. Oh my, why is that the softie machine? That's also another conspiracy theory about why the softie machine is always broken.
Thing. Because in India it's never broken.
No, McFlurry, I've never, I think I've got a McFlurry, twice in my entire childhood because it's always broken.
No, because my experience was, I've heard so many stories in the US where people are like, I went to McDonald's, I couldn't get a soft serve. So sad. But in India, I've gotten a soft serve every time I wanted one. But I do have some fun baked goods for us, which we'll bring out in a bit. It's on brand with today's topic. That's all I will say for now.
Three-eye atlas. Yes.
Three-eye atlas. Okay, so if we just summarize it quickly.
Yes.
Three-eye atlas. Traveling
no, I didn't finish the explanation of the thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was talking about the softie. Wow, we got really distracted with the softie.
Like, I was like, oh.
But so it formed this crust when it was traveling.
Yeah.
And now that it is coming closer to another stellar system, which is the sun, our solar system, it is heating up finally, which is why the crust is slowly dissipating. So the CO2 was originally coming out, but then when it flew behind the sun and started coming around, the crust was probably already dissipated, which is why these water vapor plumes are coming out, because now you can see the real comet. So it could just be a normal comet that is shielded by this hull that we see. So that is the physical, like the physics explanation of it as to why we see what we see. And that also can give you an explanation for the anti-tail.
Well, how does it explain the anti-tail?
So the iron aluminum, the ironless nickel super alloy that exists could have been picked up when it was doing its galactic travel, and
little souvenir.
Yeah, and when it was when it was coming towards the sun.
Yeah,
it's used for stealth technology, heat dissipation, and shielding.
Yeah.
So the closer you move towards the sun, the more influx of cosmic ray, not cosmic, but solar rays.
Okay.
And because of that, that could explain the anti-tail, because the closer you get to the sun, the more the shielding that it's happening, so it's reflecting the sun's rays back, which is causing this anti-tail towards the sun rather than a normal comet, which does it away from the sun. But yeah, that was it's a little heavy, but yeah,
it's interesting. I'll just sum up my understanding of it. So Three-eye atlas, it's a little traveler for about 7 billion odd years, which is older than our solar system. It was only discovered by our satellites, telescopes, whatnot, last summer, 2025.
We started tracking it last summer.
We started tracking it last summer because it entered past the Oort cloud into our solar system. And it's a little sus because it's killed not only TESS, but also MAVEN. MAVEN was on Mars. TESS was on again?
It's just a observer. Like around.
Okay, TESS is around. So it's killed the two of them when they specifically tried focusing on Three-eye atlas. It's also sus because it has an anti-tail, which is like the opposite direction. Because normally a comet's traveling and the tail's behind it, but the tail's kind of ahead of it. It's like laying out the path for it.
It has both. So it does have a tail as well, but the anti-tail is something we've never seen before.
We haven't seen. And then it has a lot more carbon dioxide than you'd expect from a comet. And when it did a little flyby, well, it went behind the sun, so we weren't able to track it for a while. And when it came out the other side, we saw that it had these little water vapor spouts coming out of it. And the craziest part is James Webb potentially saw a nickel ironless nickel
ironless
or ironless?
Ironless. I don't know why I said iron. It's iron.
Like ION.
FEIRON.
Oh, iron.
FE.
Iron.
Yeah.
Okay.
Iron.
An ironless.
Yeah.
I was picturing it as like a non-ionic nickel. So I was trying to think through my chemistry, being like, is nickel ionic? I mean, yeah, it is. It's a metal because metals exist in like a sea of electrons. Nonetheless. So it has this nickel coating, which we on Earth use for a lot of sus purposes, including protection from radiation and stealth tech and la la la. So I definitely see reasons for it to be sus. There is a physics explanation as well. There's a logical explanation to it. But I am very intrigued. And like you said, what did we find out just 2 days ago about it?
That it's changing direction ever so slightly.
Oh yeah, it's also changing direction and accelerating quicker than you'd predict a comet to do based on gravitational behaviors and things. So we're going to be keeping an eye on it.
100%. But how, when every time someone tries to lock in on it, it just kind of malfunctions, if you know what I mean.
Ooh, interesting. I started watching a show, the three body problem. Yeah. I'm only on like the second episode, so no spoilers. But have you watched it?
I've only seen the first couple episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was really good show though. Very slow.
It seems good. It seems... I kind of started watching it when I was like alone at home one day. So it was a bit scary for my liking. But okay only. It's kind of got some ET stuff. And the idea there is where, like, in the 60s, these folks in China sent out a message to aliens. And this one lady, who I'm guessing is like a protagonist in the show, amplified it at the sun, which then magnified it even more. And many years later, the aliens kind of heard the message and are like coming towards Earth.
Interesting.
And something like that. So 3i Atlas is giving.
It is, because the last message that Maven sent was like muddled up and we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Apparently, again.
Oh, no, the reason I thought of the three-body problem was because for some reason these aliens want like physicists to stop working on what they're working on. And it's somehow trying to mess with them. So the way like 3i Atlas has stopped Maven and TESS from doing their thing, that's why.
What if there is like this intergalactic rule that you're like, you can passively observe but not actively observe? Like, what if this is like if there could be intelligent life, what if they already have, like, you know how we have like peace treaties and stuff? What if they have one of those and we are kind of violating it by trying to, assuming that like that extraterrestrial life and intelligence exists?
But it comes down to like jurisdiction, right?
Yeah.
If we are like the only sort of sentient beings in our solar system that we know, do we have jurisdiction? Like once you cross the Oort cloud, it's like Earth's territory.
Our territory.
Interesting. I guess we won't really know until we find a couple of other civilizations.
Exactly. But yeah, so that's one of the reasons why we're like, is there life there? What is the thing? And the thing is, there's this non-profit that was established in 1984 called SETI. It's going to be very relevant. SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Okay. Really, they do insane work. Their entire goal and aim is to search for extraterrestrial origins, intelligence, or the origin of life. How did life form?
Okay.
What do we consider life?
Oh, this is my domain
all
a little
of those
bit.
questions. Yeah.
Interesting.
So this, and SETI says that 3i Atlas doesn't have any really, not too many alien things. And what gets me is that they are non-profit. So, it's like they're not, they're not pushing any agenda.
They're based
as
out
such in the US.
US. Funded by?
I'm not too sure.
I'll look into this.
Yeah.
I'd be intrigued because I feel like every space agency has their own kind of agenda of some sort.
Yeah.
It's still a race. They're still competing together, even though they do work together. They all share the ISS and whatnot. Some of them do. I know China has its own one. There's something like that. I'd be intrigued why they wouldn't, like, have they dived into a little bit, like why they're kind of dismissing it? What do they know?
Exactly. And when Black Vault tried to get answers, they got that cryptic
What does Black
message.
Vault do as an organization?
They built an archive of declassified government documentation from the US government. Yeah. So they submitted a request for freedom of information, and they were just like, we cannot confirm nor deny.
They're not Australian, so no nor.
Nor
clear.
No, but like NOR, like nor. Even in American accent, you'd say nor.
You'd say nor, yeah. No,
nor.
That's Australian.
Nor.
Like a valley girl.
We can't confirm nor deny.
Oh, I thought you were saying no as nor. Like nor on its own is a word. Yes.
Yes.
I was saying nor, like how Australians say N-O, no.
Yeah.
It's like nor, clear. Have you watched H2O? Just
H2O.
Add Water?
I love it. Such a good show.
Oh, if any of you have not watched that show, I highly recommend it. You will, nor clear will become the background noise in your head.
Nor.
Nor.
You do an amazing Australian
accent. Thank you. I had a lot of Aussie teachers growing up. If you want to do a good Australian accent, the way Australians say razor blades is if you say the words rise, up, lights.
Rise up lights.
Yeah.
Rise up lights. Oh, I love it.
That's some Aussie speak for you. Shout out to my dear friend Juan, who I imitate a lot as well whenever I'm around him. So yes, nor. Back to this.
Yeah, back to this.
Yeah.